Welcome new and old friends. My name is 242, and today 42 got us one story she borrowed from Cat Lionheart. So, turn off your lights, make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky. Are they beautiful? I said to my girlfriend, laying back, gazing at the sea of stars above. I heard a sharp inhale next to me as my girlfriend was filled with unimaginable fear, and she spoke. Their eyes. If you're enjoying this video, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. Love's True Price by Cat Lionheart. Yuna had been studying magic in Dane for over 20 years. She had always figured that with her greenish hazel eyes, long jet black hair, double D-cup size, pale skin, and goth witch aesthetic, she would not have troubles finding someone, so she had always concentrated on her magical studies and pursuits. However, after her last boyfriend had turned out to be little more than a fuckboy, all she wanted was a capable, big-titty goth girlfriend. She was done trying just on her own. She finished putting the finishing touches on the small doll she had made with a knowing smile. There, she said out loud and to herself. With this and the catalyst, I'll be able to attract my one true love. She held the nondescript human-looking doll in her left hand as she ran her right hand down her nude body into her lower bits. It took her only a few moments to retrieve the first catalyst. She smeared the fluid on the doll. Of myself, I give for lust and sexual attraction and compatibility. She laid the doll on the pre-prepared altar in front of a fire that was to be its fate. She traced a line over her chest, starting at her heart, to her left ring finger. She took out a diabetic lance and struck the side of her left ring finger. Blood formed the heart given freely to find true and stable love. She let a few drops fall onto the doll. Of myself, I give to find the one meant for me, she said, picking up the doll. She channeled her magic to activate the catalyst. Blood from the heart, liquid from lady part, do my bidding, bring me the one who is truly fitting. She finished the chant and threw the doll into the prepared ritual fire, sitting in a cast iron pot, long since ruined. The fire flared and turned a crimson red, before softening to a pink and returning to normal, before going out without a trace of the doll's remains. Then, nothing. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but I expected something, she thought to herself. Guess I'll have to go visit the graveyard and give it time. At the very least, I need to put a bra on. My back is starting to hurt. She got dressed with a black shirt and a medium-length side skirt with leggings and shoes. Secured and dressed, she headed out. Arriving at the graveyard, she turned off and exited her car. She scanned about the area before she locked her car. She strolled through the graveyard among the tombstones. The day being a pleasant spring day, the sun overhead. It was peaceful there. There were no living people she could see, and only the transient spirits about, none of them earthbound. Yuna glided among the headstones, solemnly touching some, wondering who the people were and what their stories were. She stopped by the graves of her extended family for a minute to speak and reflect. She lit an incense stick and placed it on the joint stone above the grave of her parents. Mom, Dad, ancestors of old, I am lost. I have studied magic long and hard for many years, but I am alone. I can't find anyone to share my life with. Our line will continue if not through me, but I personally need guidance, help. I don't know. I feel the kind of loss that not even magic can help. I just need guidance. We all feel that way sometimes. It's a danger of being alone. A voice behind her said gently. Yuna turned slowly to see a female spirit. She appeared young, in her early to mid-20s. Long, flowing brown hair, green eyes, and wearing a simple white dress that goes well with her average, no-muscular figure. So it seems, she replied thoughtfully. Who are you? The spirit tilted her head, thinking for a moment. Long has it been since I needed a name, and I do not know any of my previous ones you would know. My last was Lisha. That should work for us, I think. Yes. Let us use Lisha, she said with a small curtsy. A pleasure, Lisha. I am Yuna, she said with a soft smile and a curtsy of her own. Walk with me for a time, Yuna. Yuna looked at the incense stick, and it was burned out. She picked up the stick and scattered the ashes to the wind. Sure, she replied, following behind Lisha. So, you feel lost. Tell me of your troubles, if you would. I feel as if I'm destined to be alone. I long for companionship and for love, but have yet to find it. I know it's it seems silly to me to even say it, but that's how I feel. It hurts, Yuna said, surprising even herself as she said it. I know the feeling well. In several of my lives, I have known and felt it, once dying of it. In my last life, I married someone out of fear of such feelings, Lisha said in a slow, thoughtful words. Were you happy? Yes, reasonably so. I was never lonely. I was surrounded by family, and my husband loved me and was always by my side. I did sometimes wonder, though, if I had stolen his happiness and someone else's out of my fear, however. There are some things even spirits do to get the answers to. You should leave now. If you linger here much longer, you'll invite problems for yourself. Feel free to return another time, however. I will be here. Oh, okay. And, thank you, Yuna stammered. She knew better than to argue with a spirit when they gave advice and quickly made her way back to her car and left. Over the next few months, she returned more and more frequently to speak with Lisha, finding herself drawn to her, until one night, after a particularly amorous dream, it hit her that she was either bi or demi. And furthermore, whichever it was, she loved and wanted Lisha. She went the next day to the graveyard to confess to her. Yuna found her in the same spot as ever, just a bit removed from her extended family's grave. I have wanted to see you and to speak to you. I know. Then, do you know why I have come? I suspect yes, but I want to hear you say it out loud, and I wish to make sure. Yuna sighed, blushing ever so slightly. After many an hour spent with you, I have come to realize that I love you, and I want to be with you. It is as I thought, Lisha said with a slight sad tone. Is that a no? You do not know what you ask nor seek. I am dead, after all, chief among reasons why it is not the best of ideas. I don't care. I want and love you. You won't let this go, will you? Yuna shook her head. Will you accept the potentially horrible consequences? Lisha pressed. To be a witch means making choices and living with them, good or bad. So be it. I admit, I am very fond of you as well. Were I mortal, I dare to say I would love you. About that, what if I could bring you back? You realize I would come back as the last human I was, and not the person you know and love now, correct? That may not entirely be the case. If I directly brought you back to life, yes. But if I just made a new body for you to inhabit, it would shape itself to your projected spirit image and would allow you to retain who you are now and some of your memories. Enough as a human again, you would not notice the difference. Quite the forbidden art, you know, Yuna. Yuna smirked. I like to think of myself as well versed. As you say, if you wish it, I will do it for you, my sweet Yuna. I will return tomorrow at 3 a.m. I will be here waiting for you, same as always. Yuna read the ingredients of the average human body in her head needed to take them with her before leaving. Water, 35 liters. Carbon, 20 kilograms. Ammonia, 4 liters. Lime, 1.5 kilograms. Phosphor, 800 grams. Salt, 250 grams. Saltpeter, 100 grams. Sulfur, 80 grams. Fluorine, 7.5 grams. Iron, 5 grams. Silicone, 3 grams. And 15 traces of other elements. Something struck her off. Wait, no, that's the recipe for a mother, not a wife, she said aloud to herself. Ah, wrong page. She thought to herself, this time turning a few pages into her book. Oxygen, 73 kilograms. Carbon, 16 kilograms. Hydrogen, 7 kilograms. Nitrogen, 1.8 kilograms. Calcium, 1 kilogram. Phosphorus, 0.78 kilograms. Potassium, 0.14 kilograms. Sulfur, 0.14 kilograms. Sodium, 0.10 kilograms. Chlorine, 0.095 kilograms. And magnesium, 0.019 kilograms. Check and check. She loaded each of the ingredients into her car, as well as a blanket and some clothes and various other supplies for the rite she would need. When she was packed, she set off to the graveyard. Yuna drove to the graveyard and set up preparing a ritual circle and laying out the ingredients into a pile. Setting the blanket and cloth off to the side, she met with Lisha while saying up, "Does not look like any human I've ever seen." I suspect science has advanced further since your last life. The human broken down into most components and not assembled in this. Magic will take care of the rest, Yuna said with a confident smirk and a wink. As you say. Are you ready? Is it hard to wait to have you in my arms? Yuna said, biting her lower lip slightly. Yes, I am ready. Yuna undid her bra, slid down her panties, and let her black dress fall silently to the blanket and began the rites. As a mother births a child, life begets life. I am the spell mother and this new being my spell child. I offer my blood as payment. Yuna took the vial of her menace mix with a small amount of reservation fluid to keep it liquid and fresh and dumped it onto the pile. She set the vial aside in a special container for waste material and picked up her Athunme. Life begets life, and I sparked the life and magic with the offering of my heart's blood. She slid the tip of the veil into her arm and slit her wrist, going down a full inch, opening her veins on her left wrist. Her arm was overcome with pain. It felt as if she was bleeding fire as her veins were exploding to air. As soon as enough blood hit the pile, the whole ritual circle glowed a ghostly light blue, the magic of the ritual lifting her a foot off the ground and enveloping her body in the same ghostly light and lit the circle. It instantly mended the wound on her arm as she opened her mouth to scream energy and light erupting from every orifice she possessed. Lisha found herself forced into the circle, unable to leave. The light hit her and began to burn. She was on fire. She burned with light, blue, ghostly fire, and wrecked with pain as Yuna lay unconscious. Leisha was helpless, screaming as she burned. Slowly but surely, as the fire consumed her body, she seen patches of flesh. Real, living flesh. Her spirit body was burning off to give way to a human one, and that was the last thought she had before passing out herself. Yuna woke first, naked and cold, and found an equally naked woman beside her. "Leisha?" she said, struggling to move towards the woman. She slowly sat the woman up and held her, cradling her head. "Leisha, is that you? Please wake up and say something, anything." "Yuna?" Leisha said, waking up and opening her eyes. "Leisha?" Yuna almost squealed. She stared at Leisha's face and thought something more than normal seemed familiar, but before she could say anything, Leisha stretched her head up and kissed her passionately. Leisha stood up and offered her a hand to Yuna. Yuna took it and Leisha helped her up, and with a predatory look in her eyes led her to the blanket, and they embraced as lovers passionately for 2 hours right there. Still breathing heavily and unable to walk just yet, Yuna was the first to break the silence. "There is still something I can't quite shake. It seems like you are more known to me than you should be, and something about you I'm just drawn to even more than normal." "Have you not figured it out yet, my love?" "I have no idea what you mean." "Does the family name Murphy mean anything to you?" "Wait, so your name is Leisha Murphy?" "Yes." "And you're buried near my extended family?" "That is right, Yuna." "So what is the logical conclusion to this?" "You are my great, or perhaps great, or even further back, maternal grandmother?" Yuna with a bit of shock in her voice. "That's right. I thought you knew, or would have figured it out by now, my love. Do you still love me?" Yuna smiled and gave Lashai a passionate lover's kiss. "I do. You know, there is a saying in some groups I hang out online." "Oh, and that is?" "Incest is wincest," Yuna said, licking her lips seductively. Hiking is fun until you accidentally stumble across a group of people in the woods doing some weird ritual thing. Good thing I was on the cult side and not the poor guy that got captured for sacrifice. I do hope you enjoyed this story. If you like this video, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you're new, subscribe and turn that pretty little bell to all notifications. Down below, you will find links to the author, please show him some love, and my tree link. That will have everything you need, including my Patreon and my merch links. Now, I love for you to leave a comment, but let me give you the Sunday word first. Now, onto the Sunday word. Last week's word was impulse, and I got one reply. And that will be on screen. This week's word is reinforce. Strengthen or support an object or substance, especially with additional material. Or strengthen an existing feeling, idea, or habit. And last, strengthen a military force with additional personnel or equipment. If you're on YouTube, please leave me a comment using reinforce. If you're on the podcast, go to my Twitter, @me, and make a sentence with this word. But as always, guys, thank you for watching and listening. It really means the world to me. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.